Can I ask you something personal? Have you ever quietly wondered if what is changing down there is just old age, or if maybe it is your body trying to tell you something? Most men brush off softer mornings, awkward moments with their partner, or more bathroom trips at night as just how it goes. I want to stop you right there. Because these signs are more than a birthday count. They are your body's early warnings. For years, I have listened to men in their 60s and 70s finally admit they are worried. They drop their eyes, speak softly, confess they feel less like themselves. They miss the confidence they once had when they woke up in the morning. And more than anything, they miss feeling connected and alive. It is easy to blame time, but the truth is, time only opens the door. The real problem starts when blood stops flowing the way it should, when your tissues stiffen from years of little insults, when your prostate quietly swells and pushes on nerves. These are not your failures. They are what happens when you go decades without knowing how to take care of this part of your body. I think about Jim, a retired bus driver, 66, who told me in my office, "Doc, I feel like I am disappearing." That is hard to hear, but I knew it was not permanent. When we started small steps, he slowly felt warmth return, not just in his body, but in how he carried himself. So let me plant this thought. What if your body is not giving up on you, but gently asking for help before things get harder? What if you could still change the story starting right now? Next, I am going to show you a small natural option that has helped many men like Jim feel hopeful again. It is simpler than you think. Stick with me. This could be the part that makes you lean in. Have you ever thought something as simple as a bottle of oil and a common kitchen powder could make a real difference for men over 60? Most guys look surprised when I bring it up. They think if it does not come from a pharmacy, it cannot be serious. I used to feel the same way, until I watched it work over and over. Castor oil has a special way of soaking deep into tissues that most lotions or creams never reach. It helps calm irritation, invites fresh blood in, and tells tight muscles to relax. Baking soda works right alongside it by balancing out quiet acid buildups that have been hiding in your pelvis for years. Together, they clear pathways that blood needs to travel, helping nerves wake back up and sensitivity slowly return. I had Robert, 71, a big-hearted man who spent his life as a contractor. His hands could build a house, but he felt helpless when it came to these changes. We started him on a simple mix of warm castor oil and a pinch of baking soda. After a few weeks, he told me, "Doc, I woke up one morning and for the first time in a long time, I felt like myself." This is not magic. It is about giving your body something it knows how to use. It just never got the chance before. What if a little oil and powder could be your first gentle step back to feeling more alive? In the next part, I will explain why these changes happen in the first place. Knowing that makes it all easier to fix. Let us keep going. Can I get you to think about something you might never have considered? It is not just age that makes you softer or sends you running to the bathroom at night. It is about what is quietly happening inside. Once you understand this, everything else starts to make sense. As you get older, your arteries narrow. Less blood reaches the places that depend on it most. Your prostate might swell a bit too, pressing on nerves and little blood vessels, making it harder for signals to travel or blood to stay where it is needed. And if you are like most men past 60, you sit more than you used to, which means waste and fluid build up down there, making things feel heavy or numb. I remember Martin, a 68-year-old retired long-haul driver. He spent decades sitting in a truck seat. When he finally talked to me about his struggles, he figured he was just too old. But a simple scan showed his blood flow to the pelvis was almost half of what it should be. That was not his age talking. That was years of slow changes adding up. So think about this. What if your body is not broken, just stuck under years of tiny traffic jams? What if you could help clear the road and get that blood moving again? Next, I want to share why none of this is your fault. And how letting go of shame can open the door to real progress. Stay close. This is where it gets personal in the best way. Can I ask you to be honest with yourself for a second? Have you ever blamed yourself for how things have changed? Maybe thought if you had only taken better care, eaten cleaner, moved more, you would not be here. I wish you could see how many men tell me this with tears in their eyes. It is almost always followed by the same quiet guilt. But I want you to hear this clearly. This is not your fault. Most of what you are facing is simply time and biology. The way arteries stiffen. How tissues lose bounce. How your body slowly stops clearing out the waste it once flushed without effort. It is not about your character or choices. It is just life stacking up. I remember Ed, a warehouse manager, 64, who slumped in my chair and said, "Doc, I feel like I ruined myself." That guilt weighed on him more than any of the physical symptoms. But after starting a simple natural routine, he walked back in a month later smiling. He told me he and his wife were finding little sparks again. It started with laughter, not performance, but it all grew from there. So let me ask you gently. What would change for you if you stopped seeing this as punishment and started seeing it as your body asking for help? Next, I want to show you how something as humble as castor oil can start restoring blood where you need it most. This is where the hope starts to turn real. Can I share something that might surprise you? One of the best things you can do for aging circulation in your pelvis does not come in a fancy bottle from the pharmacy. It comes in an old bottle your grandmother probably kept under the sink. Castor oil is one of the most overlooked helps for older men. And it is gentle enough to use without fear. Castor oil is special because it does not just sit on the skin like most creams. It seeps through the layers, carrying small compounds that calm irritation and quietly invite blood to come back. For men over 60, that is exactly what your lower body is waiting for. Fresh blood means oxygen and nutrients, which means tissues soften, nerves start to fire better, and even swelling around your prostate can ease up. Harold, 75, who spent a lifetime fixing cars, looked at me like I was nuts when I first suggested it. "Doc," he said, "that stuff is for constipation." I smiled and told him he was partly right, but it also does a lot more. 2 weeks later, Harold was back with a grin. "Doc, it is not like I am 20, but it feels like something flipped on." So think on this. What if your body is not failing you, just waiting for a little nudge to bring life back into places that went quiet? Next, I want to show you why mixing castor oil with something simple from your kitchen doubles the impact. It is one of the easiest upgrades you can give yourself. Let's keep going. Can I ask you to think about something most men never do? What if tiny bits of waste and acid have been quietly building up inside you for years, making tissues tight and blocking the blood you need? This is where baking soda steps in like a quiet cleanup crew. Baking soda is known for keeping teeth or the fridge fresh, but inside your tissues, it does something far more important. It helps balance out acids that slowly pile up as you age. When your tissues get too acidic, they get hard, less able to stretch and move. That is the last thing you want in your pelvis. I had Vincent, 68, who always felt this odd weight in his lower belly. He figured it was just old age. When he started applying baking soda with warm castor oil, he came back shaking his head. "Doc, I swear it feels like someone took a rock out of me." That is not luck. That is chemistry quietly working in your favor. It loosens tight spots, breaks down old waste, and helps your blood move more freely. So let me plant this in your mind. What if all it took to feel lighter down there was a teaspoon of something sitting in your pantry? Next, I want to show you why these two simple things work even better together. That is where the real shift often starts. Let me throw a question at you. What if putting two simple things together turned them into something far more powerful? That is exactly what happens when you combine castor oil and baking soda. They are each helpful alone, but together they create a teamwork that helps your body heal in a way it may not have felt in years. Castor oil dives deep, carrying soothing compounds to tissues that have been starved. Baking soda changes the very environment inside, breaking down acids and helping your body clear out leftover waste. When you use them together, the oil pulls the baking soda deeper, while the baking soda makes tissues softer so the oil can go even further. I remember George, 73, a retired electrician, who tried every supplement he could find online. Nothing gave him real results. When he tried this simple combo, he was back in my office weeks later, actually laughing. "Doc, it feels like someone opened a faucet that was stuck shut." So think about that. What if 2 small things you could start tonight are exactly what your tissues have been waiting for? Next, I want to walk you through how to actually do this in a simple, calm way that becomes the best 5 minutes of your day. You will want to hear this part. Can I be straight with you? Most men never get results because they never build a small habit their body can count on. They try something once or twice, forget it, and wonder why nothing changes. This is why I want you to see this not as another task, but a simple evening ritual that tells your body, I still care. Each night, warm up a tablespoon of castor oil and stir in half a teaspoon of baking soda. Let it sit in a bowl of warm water so it feels soothing on your skin. Then, in a quiet spot, rub it gently over your lower belly, your inner thighs, and lightly around the base of your groin. Use small circles. You are not digging, just inviting blood to come back. If you can, lay a warm towel over it for about 15 minutes. Many men tell me this becomes their calmest time of the day. I think of Carl, 70, who started using this moment to reflect on what he still wanted from life. It changed everything for him. So let me ask you, what if a few minutes each night could be the start of getting back pieces of yourself you thought were long gone? Next, I want to show you 3 small pressure points you can press while you do this. They help even more than you might guess. Let's keep moving. Can I tell you a small secret? Your hands are more powerful than you might think. Over the years, I have shown men 3 simple spots to press that help blood flow, calm nerves, and even support healthy hormones. Most are amazed something so simple could do so much. Start with the spot on your wrist, right where you would check your pulse. Press lightly for a minute. It helps calm the heart and open small arteries. Next, move to your inner thigh, about 4 fingers from where your leg meets your body. Gentle pressure here encourages blood and lymph to move, clearing out waste. Finally, press the soft place between your big toe and the next toe. This spot is famous for boosting circulation and helping your liver clear old junk that can mess with testosterone. I remember Samuel, 78, who told me he felt invisible after losing his wife. When he started pressing these points during his routine, something shifted. "Doc," he said, "I find myself smiling again for no reason." So think about this. What if your own fingertips held a little power to turn things back on inside you? Next, we will talk about how the foods you eat right after this routine matter more than you ever thought. This could be the part that locks in all your hard work. Can I ask you a question that might make you pause? What do you put in your body right after doing all this gentle work to open blood flow? Because it matters a lot more than most men realize. Your tissues are warm, your blood is moving, and what you feed yourself now either keeps things open or quietly shuts them right back down. I remember Barry, 72, who followed this routine like a champ, but told me it felt like he was still stuck. When I asked about his meals, it turned out they were mostly white bread, deli meats, and soda. We swapped in beet juice a few nights a week, a bit of avocado, and some spinach with olive oil. 10 days later, Barry said, "Doc, it feels like my engine finally kicked in." This is because foods like beets, leafy greens, and healthy fats keep your arteries soft and encourage nitric oxide, which is key for firmness. You do not need fancy diets, just a few smart swaps. So think on this. What if a simple plate after your routine could keep blood flowing freely and help nerves stay awake? Next, I want to touch on something even bigger. What you tell yourself in the mirror every day matters just as much as any oil or food. This is the part that often changes everything. Can I ask you something that goes deeper than circulation or diet? When you wake up in the morning and catch your reflection, what do you quietly tell yourself? Are you thinking you are past your prime, that the best chapters are already written? I have seen that belief stop more healing than any physical roadblock ever could. Your body listens closely to what your mind whispers. If you keep telling yourself you are old, broken, or unimportant, your nervous system hears that. Blood vessels tighten, stress hormones go up, and even your posture shifts. But if you begin treating yourself like someone who still matters, everything from your heartbeat to your testosterone levels can start to respond. I think of Thomas, 67, who came to see me after prostate surgery. Physically he was fine, but he told me, "Doc, I feel like I am not really a man anymore." Instead of another prescription, I gave him something simpler. Each night when he did his oil routine, I told him to rest a hand on his chest and say out loud, "I still matter. My story is not done." He thought it was silly at first. But a month later, he came back standing taller. Even his handshake was stronger. "Doc," he said, "it feels like I woke up again. So let me ask you straight. What if the most important change waiting for you right now is not in your blood, but in what you choose to believe about yourself? What might start to shift if you told your body it still has plenty left to give?" Next, I want to pull all these steps into a simple daily rhythm. This is how you turn everything you have learned into results that last. Can I give you a small truth that most men overlook? Knowing what to do means little if you never build it into a steady habit. You can have the best oil, the right foods, even the right words, but if it is all scattered, your body never learns to trust it. That is why I like to start men on a clear 7-day rhythm. It is long enough to teach your tissues a new pattern, but short enough to feel doable. Each evening, warm a spoon of castor oil, stir in a pinch of baking soda. Rub it over your lower belly and inner thighs in slow circles. If you can, lay a warm cloth on top and let it all sink in for about 15 minutes. Right after, give your body something simple to keep blood flowing. Maybe a glass of beet juice, a boiled egg, or a few slices of avocado. It is not a diet plan. It is just telling your body, stay open, keep the blood moving. I think of Frank, 74, who agreed to try this for just 1 week. On the 5th day, he called me sounding almost shy. "Doc, I woke up this morning and felt something I had not felt in years. Not perfect, but enough to give me hope. So let me plant this in your mind. What if 7 simple days could prove to you that your body still knows how to respond?" Next, I will tell you exactly what most men start to notice after 1 week, 2 weeks, and a month. That way you will know what little victories to look for. Can I be honest with you? Most men give up on new things too early simply because no one ever told them what slow progress actually looks like. That is why I want to walk you through what most older guys see after a week, 2 weeks, and 30 days. Knowing this might keep you going when old doubts try to creep back in. In that first week, most men notice a quiet warmth down low, not from the oil, but from inside. It is like something that has been asleep for too long starts to stretch. A lot of men also sleep deeper, with fewer nighttime bathroom trips. That alone makes mornings feel less heavy. By 2 weeks, things change even more. The tightness often lifts, your belly might feel lighter, and small spontaneous firmness sometimes shows up again. I think of Leo, 69, who told me he caught himself whistling in the garage. Said he almost stopped in surprise. That is not just blood flow. That is your spirit getting a little lighter too. By 30 days, you are often not even thinking of this as a treatment anymore. It becomes part of how you live. You might stand taller without trying, meet your partner's eyes with more quiet certainty, and start making little plans again that you had quietly pushed aside. So pause and think on this. What if a month from now, you looked back and realized your body was still ready to give you more than you ever hoped? Next, I want to share one last gentle addition, something likely sitting right in your kitchen that can take all this to another level. Can I finish with a simple reminder? All of this is more than just routines and small foods. It is about giving your body proof that you still value it, that you still expect it to show up for you. Your years may be stacking up, but they do not get the final word. I often tell men a quiet truth that guides me too. It is never too late to care for yourself like someone worth the effort. Never too late to open another chapter. Your body is listening. Every drop of oil, every gentle press of your hand, every calm bite of real food tells it, I still matter. If this message means something to you today, I would be honored if you subscribed, or shared this with a friend who might need a small push. If you ever feel moved to support more work like this, there is a little link below. But most of all, thank you for simply being here. Thank you for choosing to hope. Hold your head high. Keep tending to yourself with patient hands and patient thoughts. I will be right here when you are ready for the next step. Until then, take good care. I look forward to talking with you again soon.